I built this floating mob prison in my Minecraft world. I don't know, because I thought it'd be cool, I guess. I got the idea of doing a mob prison from Sandiction, who did one in his hardcore series a while back. And I thought to myself, why don't I spend 3 months of my year attempting to get every mob in the game into a floating sphere? I got the idea of doing a floating mob prison from the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Shout out to Morrowind. That shit almost as old as I am, though. So if you've never played Morrowind, in the city of Vivec, there is a giant floating meteor prison, which was named Bardao and was a large moonlet set to destroy Vivec City by the Daedric Prince Sheogorath. When Vivec saw it falling from the sky, he merely lifted his hand and froze it above the city. Instead of destroying the meteor, Vivec decided to keep it above his city so that if the people of Vivec ever stopped loving him, the meteor would descend on them and kill all of them. It's just a big ass floating prison. So because it is a giant floating rock, I kind of need a lot of smooth stone. Because I suck at making spheres out of squares, I used a website called Plots, which gave me a layer by layer rundown of where I need to place these blocks in order to make this 50 by 50 prison.
For all these mobs that will never escape, they're trapped in there forever.
But first, I need an area to build this thing. I would like it to be somewhat near the base so I could, like, you know, see it, but not close enough to where I can hear every single mob in the game's idle noises the entire time I'm sitting in my base. This spot looks pretty good. Alright, let's begin building the absolutely humane and totally not evil
Prison where none of these mobs will ever see their families ever again. They're going to die in here.
3, 2, 1, go!
Now that the concentration, now that the gulag is done, now that the prison is complete, I need to get about 70 or so name tags so I can have the mobs be in there without them despawning. Luckily for me, I have a library up on top of my mountain where I can just use them and trade for name tags. Now that I have some name tags, it is time to start designing the interior of the structure. For passive mobs like chickens and cows and sheep, I'm just gonna make their little area look like a plains biome. So for each mob, I'm going to decorate their cell somewhat into their respective biome. So in order to light up the cells, I wanted to use sea lanterns instead of torches because I feel like torches just didn't look as good. And the only way to get sea lanterns is to go to an ocean monument and just steal them. Or you could kill guardians and craft them, but that's way more work. So I stole all the sea lanterns out of 3 ocean monuments. After building and decorating a couple of floors, it got a little lonely in there, so I decided to go and start capturing some mobs. My first few attempts didn't really go so well.
Wow! Incredible!
One down. 63 more to go. So if 64 mobs sounds a little short on the total, that's because it is. And the reason for that is my world is 0.18.2 and it has not been updated to 1.20, which was out by the time I'd finished this. So mobs like the Allay and the Frog weren't in the game, like in my world, so I couldn't get them. It's not possible. I didn't count any of the jockey mobs like the chicken jockey or the spider jockey because they're literally just two separate mobs, like a zombie riding a chicken or a skeleton riding a spider. I just didn't care. And as for the hoglins or the piglins, when you bring a piglin or a hoglin into the overworld, it just zombifies. So a piglin will turn into a zombified piglin and the hoglin will turn into a zoglin. So I need to build a separate area in the nether for piglin brutes and piglins as well as the hoglin, which will be done when I decide to finish my big ass nether area that has been unfinished for over a year. Now that all of that has been explained, let's start kidnapping some of these mobs. First up is the sheep, then the pig, the chicken, cow. For the snow golem, I just made his cell just snow blocks. And the iron golem, same thing, just with iron blocks. The Enderman. Brown mushroom and the red mushroom. For the turtle, I just put an egg in there so it'll hatch into a turtle rather than having to steal one. But bunny. Here's a wolf. A fox. Got a strider now. Here's a phantom. I already had an ocelot in my house. His name is Harold. Hello, Harold. We got Tina the fat lard. We got an endermite. You know, I always kind of forget that these even exist. Here is a skeleton horse. Here's the bee. Finally got another mule after the other one suffocated in a wall earlier.
Man made a run for it.
Oh, and I stole its cat too. Polar bear. Alright, now that it's not so lonely in here, it's time to actually finish the structure.
Good. So you see offer either yeah, make and go with that. But
bro. So we need some good Tebow heads. This could be death number 3. Oh, there's like 6 of them in the way. No. Smash, smash, smash.
At this point, I am at 25 out of 64 mobs collected. Most of the passive mobs have already been collected. It's mostly the hostile ones and the neutral ones that I still need. So I'm going to turn one of these really big cells into an aquarium, essentially, for all of the aquatic mobs. So I need to grab a tropical fish, a cod, a pufferfish, a salmon, a squid, a glow squid, and finally a dolphin. I am not, however, going to put an axolotl in here because it'll just kill the other fish, and that's a no-no. So it's gonna get its own cell. Alright, time to continue the collection. Here we gotta go. Zombified piglin. Zoglin. Magma cube. Went and stole a slime from my slime farm. We'll just cover his cell with slime blocks. Blocks made from his dead friends, essentially. Alright, these next 2 cells are going to be for a wither skeleton and a blaze. So, let's go find us a nether fortress. Zombie. Skeleton. I also got a baby zombie. Just, I don't know, the opportunity was there, I guess. So I'm making this cell for a drowned, and I'm making it look like one of those little structures they have underwater that they tend to hang out around. And you can just make a drowned, essentially. You just convert a zombie by drowning it. Who knew? Get that axolotl in there. Round off the last of the aquatic mobs. Well, for the most part. So this cell is going to be for a stray, which is basically just like a snow skeleton. So I'm just going to make the cell out of just snow blocks, I guess. Instead of, you know, flying around for thousands of blocks to find a snow biome for a stray to spawn in, I'm just gonna convert a skeleton into one, and the way you do that is you go to a, like, one of those crazy mountain biomes with like the ice on top and shit, and you get powdered snow, and you just essentially, the same way you do a drowned with a zombie by drowning it, you just encase a skeleton in powdered snow and it'll turn into a stray. So for the husk, I'm making his cell really just decorated with various sandstone types. I put a little desert temple design on the floor, and I even gave him his own little dead bush. For the cave spider, because you find them in mine shafts, I'm making his cell look like a little tiny mine shaft. Side note, capturing this little shitter was so fucking annoying. I don't know what it is. I mean, they're like one of the smallest mobs in the game. That's probably why, but it was so annoying. Got a panda. So for the Ravager and all of the mobs that you can get from a Woodland Mansion, I'm just gonna get them from a raid at a nearby village, and I'm gonna make all of their cells just look like a Woodland Mansion.
Kind of retarded.
For the witch, I'm making his cell look like a little swamp with a witch hut in it. I also caught a zombie villager during this raid. I don't know where he came from. The zombie villager cell is gonna just look like a plains, I guess, with some cobwebs and a little cobblestone house. In order to get a bat in the structure, I had to build like this weird enclosed staircase thing because they only spawn on Y level 64 and below. And I believe the bat's cell was at 128, so it's not even possible for it to even like spawn up there. So I had to build this like enclosed stairwell from Y level 64 all the way up to where his cell is gonna be. And I had to like get a bat into it and lead him up there and close it off behind him every step of the way. Next up is the Shulker. So I need to go to the end and find the closest end city. I will name you Box. And there is the Shulker. Next up is the Silverfish, and for that cell, I'm just gonna make it look like a little stronghold area. I don't actually have any clips of me going to the stronghold and finding the Silverfish itself. Yeah, you just gotta trust me. But I have this, I guess. Now that we got the Silverfish in there, the next one is going to be the Guardian. For the Guardian, I'm going to use one of those big cells, and I'm going to make it look like a ocean monument. With the Guardian in his new permanent home, I only need 3 more mobs. Next up is the Ghast. So I'm going to put the Ghast in another one of the big cells. So I'm going to make the Ghast cell just look like a nether waste biome. So I'm going to put down some soul sand, a little lava pool here, give him a little lava pool to hang out in. Hopefully this is big enough because the Ghast is kind of a thick boy. So if you've played Minecraft for any length of time, really, you know that Ghasts like to fly around, and that would make them extremely difficult to capture into a minecart because you can't fly a minecart. So what you can do is you can go up to the nether roof and build a little spawning platform for Ghasts to spawn on so they can't fly away. They can spawn there, but it's just barely big enough so they can't actually fly. So Ghasts only spawn in 3 biomes: basalt deltas, nether wastes, and soul sand valleys. Okay, so this should spawn some Ghasts if I fly around enough and try and force them to spawn. Instead of spawning Ghasts on the platform, for some reason I'm hearing gas noises under the platform, which should not be a thing, but I guess we'll go check it out. So directly under where I built my platform is this perfect little alcove, I guess, where Ghasts can spawn, but they can't move. So we're gonna exploit that.
I'm gonna get killed out here.
Finally, we got one. I think it was like the 6th or 7th one. I kind of lost count. And he's kind of like barely in there, but I don't care. A win's a win. He's in. Ghast down. That shit literally took like a week. Fuck it up. Alright, we got the Ghast in there. Barely. Now there's only 2 mobs left. So next up is the Elder Guardian. So the Elder Guardian is gonna go in this big middle piece. I purposefully saved the middle part for the Elder Guardian because I thought it would look sick. And I also purposefully saved the Elder Guardian for last, or close to last, because I didn't want mining fatigue the entire time I was doing this. So let's go find an ocean monument. I didn't actually get any recordings of me finding the Elder Guardian, but I mean, I got him trapped in here. He's in, alright. Now there's only 1 mob left, and that is the charged creeper. Finally, every mob in the game, mostly, in my floating Ministry of Truth replica prison. 3 months of my life. 26 years old, by the way.